Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining me today on what is another rather cold and chilly day. So I'm up in the hills and mountains and I'm joined by what I think is a grouse that's just flown past me here. But yeah, I'm up in the hills and mountains today. It's quite cold and I'm going to be heading over in this direction to have a look around. So quite high up here. And I've just stopped to take my first shot, and I'm shooting on the Fuji X-T3 today. And I've been contemplating this scene in front of me for quite a while. I really like it. I want to shoot from this angle because it's quite a nice viewpoint, but I can see the snow on the side of the mountain as well. So I want to shoot from this point to capture that. And I really like that you can see the path going up. But what I've been debating for a little while is the inclusion or exclusion of the path on the left here. For a start, I thought I would exclude it because it leads off to the left, but having zoomed in a bit more and tried to take the shot without it, I don't think the shot looks as nice. And what I've finally settled on is that although the path leads off to the left, the curve of the hill takes you back to the right. So all in all, I think there's some quite nice lines formed, and I think we need to sometimes go against some of the rules or guidelines, for example, lines that could lead your eye out of the frame. So we really need just to study what's in front of us. And in this particular case, I think it works. I think it looks quite nice. So I've taken the shot. We've got the moody mountain, got some snow and some moody clouds behind it. It looks quite atmospheric, quite bleak, quite cold, but yeah, a really nice shot, I think. So we've got that one on the memory card and it's time to head on. When you're walking amongst the hills and mountains, you can never be sure what the weather is going to do. Earlier on I spoke about how it was quite atmospheric and moody, and it's still that at the moment, but just off to the left and behind the camera, the sun is now starting to appear, so I'm getting a little bit of light across the countryside all around me, and it really does just transform the look of the area that you're in. But anyway, when I've been walking up, I've spotted this scene behind me here, which I've gotten into position to capture, and there was no real light on the land when I saw it. I was just drawn to more the contours, the shapes, the patterns, and a bit of atmosphere due to the slightly moody conditions. There's some quite nice clouds drifting past in the distance at the back of the scene here. So I'm trying to capture this pathway leading off into the distance. We've got a big hill sweeping in from the left, and we've got some more sweeping in hills from the right, and a nice pattern of the field stretching off into the distance, and with the nice clouds just at the top of the frame. So there's lots of nice opposing diagonals, and it just looks pleasing to the eye. So I decided to capture this one. I believe the path, which is at the bottom of my image, is it's probably about 120, 150 meters below where I'm at the moment. So I've gained probably quite a few hundred meters in elevation so far. Hard to say exactly, but perhaps it could easily be 300 or over that so far, 350 meters since I've started. But anyway, I'll show you this image and then I'll get packed up and continue my ascent. I've spotted this small pool of water here, and at the moment there's some slight ripples on the surface, but when I arrived it was completely calm. There wasn't a ripple on the surface, so I grabbed a quick shot. But yeah, I really like it. We've got some fantastic mountains off in the distance, some snow-capped mountains. We've got a really dramatic sky, nice clouds, and the sun is just breaking out a little bit. So we've got some diffused light, so it's just giving the area a nice little lift. So I've got my camera set up here. The tripod's at a slight angle, but the camera's level. I was in a rush to grab this before the wind picked up. But yeah, it just looks beautiful. I couldn't go past this and not take an image. So I'm pretty much wide open on this lens at 16mm. And I'm just filling the bottom of my frame with this pool of water, the surrounding heather, and then we've got the countryside and the mountains off in the distance. So there's a couple of things I've been quite careful of. Obviously the positioning of this pool of water, but there's a nice reflection over to the right of the pool of water, and the curve of that sort of mirrors the curve of the hills that are coming in from the left. So I've been quite careful of that, and also just trying to use the clouds and the shape of the clouds when I capture the image, just to provide some nice balance to the shot. So yeah, a lot of things to consider for this image, but I'm really liking the look of the clouds at the moment. So I'm hopefully going to be able to grab another image when the wind drops and get a nice smooth look to this pool of water. But yeah, what a nice find, a bonus. Unfortunately, at this point in time I was completely unaware that my audio recorder was beginning to fail. Thankfully for this specific video it only ruined the one audio clip, but I'm going to have to purchase a new audio recorder. But what I wanted to say in this section is that I was approaching the top and I found this composition which I really liked. There are obviously a lot of interesting rocks which I positioned to the right of my composition, and some nearer the base and at other areas all leaned to the left, which I thought worked really well. The grass, at least to my eyes, was beginning to show a little bit of spring about it, and I liked how that contrasted with the white snow, so it gave some context to the image and hinted at the time of year. There were some interesting clouds sweeping across from my right over to the left, and the sun at the top left of my composition, which I shot in portrait orientation, was still high enough in the sky that even though it was very diffused by the clouds, it was just giving the land a nice little lift and casting some nice light on my foreground. So it's been fantastic hiking up to the top here, and before I get on to the photography, I just want to take a second to just discuss briefly a few things that I've noticed in the way up. I've noticed a lot of erosion on the path. It's been well worn, and I also noticed that many people are trying to take shortcuts, so they're bypassing the path and going through the terrain, and obviously that's causing more erosion and creating new paths. And sometimes humans, I think we can be like sheep, and once we see that someone has went somewhere and a path is starting to form, we follow, and of course the more footsteps the more erosion. So just something to think about. And I've noticed a lot of litter being dropped. I've noticed empty drinks cans, sort of wipes and tissues lying around, and broken glass bottles as well, and I do think that's a shame. It always registers with me when I see things like that, because you know, the outdoors is special. There's nature, there's lots of animals in these areas, and it doesn't do any good at all. It only can do harm to leave litter and things lying around like that. So yeah, just something to be mindful of, and hopefully I can clear some of that up on the way back down. So I've reached the top, and look off in the distance at these amazing, I think it's rain showers that are sweeping across, and there's a mix of light as well. So I'm frantically trying to do or take enough exposure so that I can do a focus stack here, because there's no way I'm going to get all of this sharp in one exposure. Even if I shot at f/22 or something around that aperture, it wouldn't work, plus it would suffer from diffraction. But what an amazing display, and just look at the amazing clouds above it as well. So tons of drama, tons of mood, and because the sun is still quite high in the sky, I'm getting some nice diffused light on my foreground as well. So it's going to be a difficult one to blend together. We've got all these rocks in the foreground, then we've got a little bit of grass and another really interesting collection of rocks, and then all that atmospheric conditions happening off in the distance. Now that I reached the top, it's become rather hectic. There's an awful lot going on off in the distance. We've got these sweeping, dramatic, moody clouds. We've had the passing rain showers and glimpses of light that I've talked about. And you really need to be keeping your eyes open. You need to be moving around and setting up compositions that suit what's going on off in the distance. But also I've been trying to use some of these rocks as foreground, so it's been necessary to do a focus stack, take enough shots so I can do a focus stack, blend the images together once I get home. So lots to think about, lots to do, and essential that you capture all the information that you need here in order to blend the images together back home and make sure that goes successfully. So lots to keep my mind on. But anyway, I'm going to hang around for a little while longer, have something hot to drink, have something to eat, maybe take one more image, and I'll show you in just a second any images that I capture. Then it's time to do the long walk back down, which I'll enjoy, because I do enjoy being out on hikes such as this. I've climbed quite a few 100 meters today, and it's been really enjoyable. Tough at times, certainly been difficult. There's been some very steep sections, and carrying all the gear, it is very difficult going, but a lot of fun all the same. So anyway, if you've enjoyed watching this video, do consider taking 1 second to give it a thumbs up, and consider sharing the video to anyone else that you know who may be interested in landscape photography. And if you are not yet subscribed to my channel and you like to see more of my videos, then do consider subscribing, and you will get notified when I upload future videos. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one.